What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Forward Thinking Podcast. I'm here with my good buddy, Tanner Mullen. I'm sure everybody knows Tanner Mullen. Come on. So today I got a real special one, man. Tanner is very, very well known in the industry because of the value he brings, because he's continuously changing lives inside and out for people in his companies, people around him, people in the community and everything. So I'm excited for this one, Tanner.
Yeah, man, it's good to be on this side of the mic.
Yeah, usually Tanner does the interviewing and the questions, but I'm flipping the script on him, so you're going to put him in the other shoes there. Yeah. So what's going on with you, bro? What's going on, man?
Yeah, man. Business, man. Business. Trying to make a little bit of an impact. I have a lot of cool things in the works, and just staying hungry, staying diligent, man. I've been doing it since I was 16 when I got my first job, man, and I haven't stopped. I think I've been planting roots for 14 years, brother. In every aspect, I've just soaked up all the knowledge, and I think now at this point in my life, I'm at a position where I can apply it all, and it's coming to fruition. My first question to anyone listening is, can you wait 14 years? That's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to make money slowly.
Yeah, no, don't get caught up in it. I mean, the skills that you might hear some of the experts, speaking on, they come off the top because they're ingrained through repetition, man. Like, I think one of the things that I learned big time was just, like, I'd say one of the best sales experiences that I've had was working at a sushi restaurant, and all of the different types of people that I had to interact with and build value with quickly. It was pretty cool if you think about it like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's kind of in and out like a conveyor belt, right?
It's in and out. It's in and out. I mean, it's like you got all sorts of different dynamics, all sorts of different people, man. So, yeah, that's helped big time. It's helped big time.
Yeah. So, dude, what got you started like in the industry? I mean, you said you started at 16. What got you started? Like, why go down the route of painting? What kind of attracted you down there? Because that's how you got started, and then you've leveled this up into
Yeah.
software for contractors,
Yeah.
which is it's changing the industry. But how did you get first involved in the painting? Then we'll level up to the drip job side.
Yeah. Yeah. The story starts with, just wanting to help my dad. Actually, I painted with him when I was 12 and 13. He would wake me up in the summer. This was his career. He worked for a painting company, and then he started his own thing. And he was that mom and pop type, painting contractor. He would, my mom would handle, the books, or whatever that was, or she would answer the phone calls. She was using Vistaprint at the time, making some business cards for him. And I have a soft heart for that story, man, because I was on the other side of that. I was the one watching it unfold. So for me, man, it was interesting just to kind of see everything take place from that perspective. Then the pandemic hit, or not the pandemic, sorry, the recession. Then the recession hit. So he was super word of mouth, bro. Like, everything that he got was word of mouth. No marketing. The only advertising was through, just business cards, which, you and I both know. I mean, that can only go so far. There wasn't forward media marketing back then, brother. It was boots on the ground, and it was very difficult to control lead flow. And my parents didn't understand that concept, man. He just painted. He was really good at painting. He was a good salesperson too. I mean, he can talk. He's Philly guy, South Jersey, so he could talk, but the business acumen, was what was missing. But I painted with him, man. I was prepping, taping, caulking, just doing things, that at the time I was like, man, this is cool. I'm getting $60 a day, and I was able to buy an Xbox. And there was nothing like it, man. He would spin those 320s at me, and boy, I mean, I felt rich, right? So those memories are ingrained in me. And I never thought I'd make it a career or anything. I had no intention of pursuing that further, even though my mom would always say, stick with the trade, stick with the trade. It's a good, thing. But I was kind of hard headed. I wanted to go into sports management. My dream, I'm a big football fan. I wanted to be a sports agent, show me the money. You ever see the movie?
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire. Yeah. So I was inspired, and I wanted to be a sports agent. So I went to school for that. But when I was going to college, my mom passed away, which obviously that's kind of like his business partner passing away. And during coming out of the recession, it was tricky for him to even get going. So Pair that with depression, he got into a drug addiction, and I had a little sister back home. And at this point in time in my life, I'm working full time at a bank. I'm making about 70, 80 grand a year, full benefits. I mean, coming from serving sushi to selling cars to life insurance. And I'm finally made my way into this bank. And it was like, man, this is my career. I was like, I kind of gave up on the sports dream at that time. And I was like, man, I'm set. I have bread. I have my own place. I thought, man, they keep giving me awards and I'm selling everything, bro. I'm just like a salesperson at a bank, which they haven't seen before. And I was hungry, man. But just knowing what was going on back home, I was like, I always had this itch to start a business. I always had, the best salespeople can either sell for someone else or sell for themselves. But the idea behind business is so scary, like, because you're just on your own. And I'm like, man, I didn't really think about it, but I was like, man, what if I can help my dad get sober and help him get his painting business back up? I think I can run it. And I was learning a little bit about lead generation. I started seeing Home Advisor pop up, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. People just put in their information and you get a lead. I could sell anything. I just knew it. I'm a dog. It's what I am. I mean, anybody, you put anyone in front of me, I'll find a way to connect with them, So for me, it was like painting. I mean, I used to have to call a stack of 200 people that came into the service department and sell them a car, and I'm like, people actually request the service that I'm going to have to sell. I just got to show up. So if it sounded good in theory, the thought was that I'd give my dad the ability to get back to work and I would do the selling. So God gave me a nudge one night, and I was debating it, man, because I have a heart for people that take the leap, because I remember how hard this was for me, and I didn't have kids at the time. So for me, man, this was crazy to just quit this job and go back home, like, where you grew up, imagine that. You leave the nest, you go to college, you make something of yourself, and then you go back to the nest to repair it, And for me, man, that was a big move because I had no security aside from a little bit of money I saved. So I went back and lived with my dad and my sister and his girlfriend at the time. And when I lived there, I started seeing that this problem that he had was much greater than what I had thought from afar, which led me to help him get through rehabs. And I was on my own. He wasn't able to work. It wasn't one of those things. I had thought he would, and he talked a good game because he wanted help, but he couldn't, man. Physically, he just wasn't there. Mentally, he wasn't there. And there were situations that presented itself where I had to say, okay, I'm on my own now. Now I got to really grow this thing because this is all I got. I should quit my job. And that's kind of what happened. So I ran into a good friend of mine who knew his neighbor who painted, and I had taken Eric Barstow's course. So the idea behind subcontracting was kind of ingrained in me. I spent $300 on this course, and I laughed with him the other day because it's like I was so cheap back then. I was probably like one of the first ones to buy that course. And yeah, so but his whole model was subcontracting. So I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I can sell the job and I'll find someone else. I didn't know what subcontracting was, dude. I had no clue, man. It's so cool to go back and think like that was a brand new concept to me of like, oh, wait a minute, I can sell this job and have someone else do it and I make money. I'm like, wait a minute, let's dial that back. So I found a friend of a friend who did painting, and lo and behold, man, I got a lead from Home Advisor. I went and sold that sucker. I didn't even know how to quote it. I didn't know what I was doing, bro. I remember going on YouTube. We didn't have the Facebook painting contractors group back then, right? It wasn't, hey, man, and that's another reason why I love when people ask pricing questions on there. I was that guy. I needed help. I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to lose the job, so you don't want to overbid it, right? And that's what happened. So I went in, bid the job, got the job, paid someone half to do it, and then at that moment, man, something just clicked. I said, ooh, this is going to be good, and then that's kind of the beginning, man, of how it all started. And then eventually I transitioned to employees, and that's
what made you want to make that
story.
What made you want to make the transition then? Because you saw success with the sub route, and then what was kind of like the turning point for you to go more after like
driving to the job with the subs, and we all carpooled because there was one an hour away. And the sub that I hired sparks up weed in the car. And I said, bro, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, bro? We're going to, I just, and I'm like, man, like, I can't tell this guy what to do. Like, like he don't really, he just, he does his own thing. Honestly, that's what happened. And I thought to myself, man, like, and he had a teammate with him. The kid was a good kid. So one night, man, I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, this guy ain't working. He's a good painter, but he's just not, I don't want to bring that into my customers' houses. I don't want him smelling like it. I don't want, so I started kind of getting a little more aware of the experience that I wanted to give. And I made a phone call to his partner, this helper that he had. I said, hey, man, look, I'm going to transition you to a W-2. If you want, I'll pay you this much per hour and you'll guaranteed get 40 hours a week. It'll be more than what you're getting now, because I was only giving them like 3 or 4 days a week. But I knew that the job times would be a little bit longer. So I kind of used that full week as leverage. And he was in, man. And then he became my project manager, crew leader. And then I painted with him. And then, from that point, it was, hey, who do I know from high school? Remember, because I was back home. I started hitting up some friends from high school, seeing if they wanted to work with us. And I had 2 or 3 guys from high school definitely wanting to make, 16, 17 bucks an hour painting. So I taught them how to paint, and then that I call it the Motley Crew, bro. That crew was so bad. I feel bad, man. We didn't know what we were doing, bro. But we made it happen.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
And was that kid that you hired, is he still with you, or did he?
Nah, man. There was a transition that had to take place because he really wasn't a manager, man. He kind of just got the position by default. And that was hard, man. I remember I had to sit in front of him and be like, look, man, this isn't working, dude. And he had a lot of personal stuff going on. But I'd say, man, I can attribute a lot of the success that I've gotten simply just by making the tough decisions, man. It has to happen. It was either I let you go or let you kill us. One of those 2 things are going to happen. Either you continue to kill us with your poor standards, or I let you go for the betterment of the colony, the good of the colony, man. And you got to make the tough decision. You cussed me out, stormed off, you just got to be ready for that.
It's part of it, man. You gotta have those hard conversations sometime. Yeah. That's crazy, man. And then after how long did you begin starting DripJobs, and like what was like the kind of like the light bulb of like, damn, I gotta make a software for this stuff?
Man, that's a whole different story, but we'll get into it, man. I mean, I think what happened was, as I started buying leads in every sector I worked in sales, I knew that I had to keep track of my people, or else if I wanted to follow up with them, I wouldn't be able to. And that was out of necessity. That wasn't me wanting to create something. So when I was in car sales, you have a CRM. Like, that's out of the box, bro. Like, you're not doing car sales without a CRM. You got to track who came in, why they came in, and then what car they were looking at, and be able to reference all that stuff. So car sales out of the box, CRM, that's it. Like, that's what you're working off of all day. So that was the first instance of a CRM for me that I was like, okay, this is cool, because I can reference all the people that I spoke to. And then when I'm slow, I'm going to call them. Hey, did you buy a car? What can I do for you? So that sort of thing. And then when I got into life insurance, they didn't have a CRM. So I kind of made a spreadsheet that had all of my leads. And it was so like cool to the branch manager. He had me do a demonstration on it. So that was really neat, because it kind of made me see like, damn, I'm doing something pretty cool. And then when I got into the bank, bro, bank has CRM. Like, that's their business, is the CRM. So when I got into painting, it was like, man, I need a CRM. And what I was finding when I was in the bank, when I was looking for it as a painting contractor, is like, mostly all that was out there was invoicing and proposal building. Like, it wasn't nurturing leads, because this was right at the beginning of the lead boom, where like you have Home Advisor going nuts. You got all these Facebook, gurus out there going nuts. You got,
but none like us. No,
not you got. I meant the fake gurus. You don't take a picture in front of a jet, bro. Or we're not friends anymore. And then Google Ads, right? So you had all these different things, and it's like, man, I knew I needed leads. I wasn't going to knock doors, so I was buying these leads. And what was happening is of course, man, I'm thinking, man, where's my CRM? I have leads over here in this app. I have leads in my text messages. I have leads, and I just don't have a central source of truth. So what happened is that one night, bro, I was just looking and looking and looking. I was like, first of all, I'm not going to find an all-in-one solution, but I'm going to use this thing called Zapier to connect things. So at least it's close. So I kind of just used duct tape and patched like 7 or 8 different apps together to do what I needed it to do. The most important thing I wanted to solve was how I was going to follow up with paid leads, because obviously I'm paying 60, 80, 100 bucks for these home advisor leads, and they're not answering the phone. Like, and again, to me, like, it's like, wait a minute. I remember in car sales, I'd have to approach these people and get them to buy. These people were coming to me saying they wanted our service, and they're not letting me come for an estimate. That to me was mind blowing. But then I just realized, like, there's this whole world of value, motivations, so much that you just learn over time. And it's like, somebody could be at work when they put that inquiry in, or it could have been 11 o'clock at night, or it could have been on Friday night. And then I don't really respond until Monday, thinking that it's going to be someone that's going to commit. So I had to automate something. So the first step was taking that lead, zapping it into a text messaging app, and firing off a text message. In that text message, a link. The link had a booking form with "You Can Book Me." Once they booked, I then zapped it from "You Can Book Me" into Active Campaign, which was an email marketing solution, which then fired off an email that said, "Thank you for booking your appointment." And I really created this whole zap that was like perfect. And I'm like, whoa, this is cool. And then I started taking it to the next level and adding different stages, and then automating movement of when certain things occur. But it was never a full system. It was just kind of patched together. Then I started selling it to people because I was on Instagram. I'm like, hey, I'm going to sell this to you. But it's awesome. It's this all-in-one solution. So I'm like hyping it up, and it's great. And I sold it to like 50 businesses. They loved it because there was nothing out there. Then the pandemic hit, and then I'm thinking, man, like, I don't know what it is, but I need to make a move here. I need to get in. I need to have something built. And I found a company, gave them the scope of what I was hoping for. And really what I was just trying to do was make it an all-in-one solution. Originally, they had an app that I wanted to white label. So I saw an app that they had, and I said, hey, I have a lot of people that like my solution, but it's missing proposals, invoices, and different contractor related functions. They love everything else, but it's missing these. And I'm wondering if you would let me white label it so I can tie my tech stack into it. And after talking to them, they're like, dude, you're asking for so many changes. It would be better if you would just get your own custom solution built with us. And that's what happened. And then that's the birth of DripJobs.
I love that, man. So when was like
Yeah.
your first ever client with DripJobs? Like, when did you sell your first one? Do you have the date?
Man, yeah, it was June. No, it was July of 2021. Yeah, 2021. July of 2021.
Damn,
So all of 2020 was spent building it. July 20, it was Ryan Van Horn. I was telling him he's agent number one, Creekstone Resurfacing. But he was my first client, man, and the app absolutely sucked. Just so you know, it was terrible. And he
but dude,
had
I
a
mean,
lot of patience.
it's more of a thing of like action over perfection. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to get it
Has to
out
be.
there, and then you just fine tune it. So
Has to be.
is Mr. Van Horn, is he still a client of yours?
Yeah. Yeah, he hits me. He
And
just
does
texts
he?
me today. He's like, when's job cost? Every time he's like, when's job costing coming out? He knows what our roadmap is. He's been a diehard since the beginning, man. So yeah,
It's hard not to be, dude. It's I mean, it's you're creating a movement. You're creating a
yeah,
massive
yeah. It's
movement.
cool.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure he's
Yeah,
looking back and be like, wow, dude, like looking at DripJobs from what it was before to what it is now, like it's
yeah.
probably insane. You know what I mean?
I mean,
So
honestly, man, it's surreal, bro. Because at the end of the day, I never expected to be in this painting business. I just did it to help my dad, really. And my passion always has been. I always enjoyed software, man. I always enjoyed. Uh, Actually, honestly, I'm kind of lazy, bro. I like the faster way, And I'm not saying that I do the faster way. I don't compromise, but at the end of the day, I'm always looking for a faster way to do something. It's just natural to
mhm.
me. Like in school, I made it through with C's. Like I did it. I got through. I did
C's
everything.
get you degrees, baby. C's get you degrees.
I got that. That's what it was, bro. I saved a lot of time. I didn't have to study as much as
Mhm.
everyone else. They probably spent so much had a lot of anger studying for tests that I just kind of just made it happen. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying that some people thrive in that environment, other people don't. I like putting pieces together. I'm a systems guy. If I see a
Yeah,
system, I'm looking at ways to refine it. I'll think of a different solution than a lot of other people will. So for me, what I
100%.
think is such a blessing, man, is just to be able to take this system that I figured out works and amplify that to so many different people. So it's like I have my special touch in right now 1,300 businesses, which is amazing. And how they've been able to, what I see as putting themselves in two places at once, man, there's nothing better, man.
I love that. But more than just that, because it's just like you're putting also their team in two different places. Like if they have sales reps, I know your interior designers on there, like it's really replicating all the leadership roles in one. You know what I mean? So you've definitely got something really good there going, and that's why you're creating so much momentum, is because it's a powerful CRM, right? So
Yeah, man. You imagine, I mean, it's your business
1,300.
now.
That's
It's your,
nuts.
yeah, it's your business though. Like it's your business. Like at the end of the day, man, like we know how important DripJobs is to 1,300 businesses. Like if we go down or if anything happens, like we have, we have a lot of pressure, but it's also great because what's cool is that I'm so forward focused on growth. Like I'll never stop making the software better. No one's going to beat us. There's no way. No one's as passionate about this as me, and I'm leading the way. And the cool thing is that every time we add something or make something better, faster, stronger, all 1,300 businesses that invest in us get better and faster and stronger because of one change, one tweak, one feature. It could set them in a new trajectory. Not many softwares have the ability to do that unless it's a CRM. You know, Company Cam's cool, but if they add a cool feature on how to take a better photo, that's not going to impact the business. That's going to impact the process within a business. We impact the entire business. Like at the end of the day, it's an honor. It's an honor, man. It's awesome.
But also impacts like the people that use it. You know what I mean? So like, for example, the most recent one you just dropped was the DripJobs, the Zapier automation that sends for appointment booked, closed jobs, stuff like that, and how we're using it. Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Yeah, man, it's just, it's crazy because like now what's happening in our Slack channels, we use Slack, that's like our control center kind of thing, is we get updates. And I mean, you've seen it too, because we're running your ads there, but we get updates every time there's an appointment and a closed job and the amounts and stuff. And we can use that information to refine what we're doing, but also to like reach out to our clients and be like, okay, cool. I saw you got 5 appointments, yesterday, and you didn't close any. Like, what's the bottleneck there? Is it a quality thing? Is it like a sales conversion thing? Like what's really going on? So it also impacts the partnerships that you have throughout. So that's crazy, dude. 1,300, man. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I want to say that's a testament to you because like you care so much about that data and what I love about you and your business is that, dude, you had your team adjust the day we dropped it. You're like, I'm having my whole team fix everything. So we have insights of all of our customers. We know how many estimates they're booking, how many sales they're getting to the dollar amount, bro. And now you're taking it to another level, which I'm stoked about. But I just think that's a testament to you and your standard and your ability to recognize how important it is for there to be data transparency in marketing and not just be okay with the retainer that you're getting. Instead, say, let me make sure that they're getting the value. And that was the promise kept on day one. And I just love that, man, because it's like, that's why we built it, but also it just holds you accountable. The best business owners hold themselves accountable. They don't need other people to hold them accountable. That's character, is when you don't need someone else to be watching over you or being like, hey man, my results suck. If the results suck and you're going to try to make a change ahead of time, be proactive. So that's something I really like about Forward Media.
I love that, man. Yeah. So what we're doing to give everybody reference is we send like weekly reports to all our clients that gives them like brief updates of like the ads we launch, the total spend, the conversions, the cost per conversion. What we're also doing now is we're taking that information, we're adding in the amount of appointments booked from us, the amount of closed jobs booked from us, and the total amount. So you get like an accurate return on ad spend for that entire week. So we're rolling that out. So it's going to be definitely exciting. And then that's going to be able to like have us stack more data, and we can really see, like, I was able to look back at, January so far, and our clients had added $500,000 in business just from us.
Crazy.
Since we dropped that automation, and that dropped like 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
I bet now
crazy,
you're seeing numbers that you didn't have before, and you're like, man, we're doing a lot better than we thought, which is pretty cool.
100%. Yeah. Because we would rely on the communication, you know what I mean? And similarly, it's just like your leads rely on your communication. But if you can automate that, dude, it's a game changer. So you're changing lives, man. 1,300. What's the target for the end of the year?
2,500. We want to get to 2,500 companies. We'll get there. We hit a record month this month. We signed up more companies this month than we signed in our first 8 months in business. So the compound effect is kicking in. We're excited over here, man.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That is crazy, man. And so what's your dad's take on like how
Yeah.
you're running your painting business. Cause I mean,
Yeah.
before he just had business cards, is he seeing this and he's just like, dude, what's going on
Yeah,
here? Like,
yeah. Man, my dad's always been proud, man. He still battles, man. He still struggles. He has,
mhm,
I had to fire him 3 times, so our relationship has taken a bumpy ride. But I love my dad, man. I understand his pain. I understand his struggles. He lost his wife. He's had a rough childhood, man. But I know he's proud, and I think and it's, if anything, one of the cool things is for me is I just like inspiring people, man. And it's not much about talk; it's about action. I think one thing that he can at least say is that he's proud of his son, and he taught me the trade, and his impact is in 1,300 businesses. Because I would have never done this had he not made the decision to be an outlier and do a painting business and think for himself. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, I mean, for him, he knows about Jobber, and every time he asks, he's like, "Hey, did we beat Jobber?" He's funny. So, he, so it's cool, man. It's cool.
I love that. And so what's on the next steps for Drip Jobs? Like what's the next, you know, thing that you're continuously improving?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, there's phases, man. Like one thing is that, like, our infrastructure right now is so good. We have such a good team. I beefed up customer success because software is about relationships, especially business centric software. And you need people talking to people. That we can't just
Mhm,
expect you know, people to be okay with a 1 to 2 day wait if there's an issue. So I think we see ourselves as more of an agency than a software, because we're partners with our users. They get the same person over and over. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Jeremy. Can you help me with this? Thanks. It's like, it's awesome, man. So really, I mean, the growth is going to come. So I've just been working on the infrastructure, getting the team in place. I can't take all the credit. I have an amazing CTO, Jason, who I met on Reddit. Long story, but him and I met on Reddit, and he just handles everything on the production side, dude. Like, I don't know how to code. I couldn't write one line of good code, bro. So I mean, just making sure they have what they need, making sure they're paid fairly, making sure, just optimizing the operations. I already have 100 million valuation in mind. So for me, it's like every decision I make is with so much certainty. It's like, I'm not going to wait to get $100 million valuation to have the faith to make bold hiring decisions, to make bold business decisions. It's already there. I already know it might even be more in the next 4 or 5 years. So for me, I'm just making decisions with faith, and that's how I do everything, man. That's how the painting business is. Got to hire a marketing agency. You got to make the decision already thinking that you're $1 million company or a $2 million business. I'm already in
mhm.
the works. We talked about it, hiring a GM. I'm already preparing for a $5 million painting business, and I think for me, it's like, when you get to a certain level, you can't stop taking risks. You have to keep going, and everything's risky. But like I said, when I first quit my paint job or my bank job, that was as risky of anything, because there was so much uncertainty. I didn't have the network. I didn't have podcasts like this with people who've done it. I didn't have the software. I just had the desire to help, and that was great. But then after that, many people that I talk to stop taking the risks because they're scared to lose what they get. And it's like, man, once you enter the game of business, you're already in the casino, brother. You're already there, man. You got to keep going. You got to keep betting. And the only way you lose in this casino is if you quit. That's the crazy part,
Mhm.
right? It's like, you quit, you put in the white towel. That's when you lose the game. So, don't know how we got here, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. So how long did it take for you to turn premium painting into a $1 million business?
2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
2 years?
It was, yeah, 2 years. First year, I think. Well, first 6 months was like 300 grand. First full year after that was 650, and then the next year after that we hit like 900 to a million, and that was with 2 crews. And it was just optimizing. Like, I think, man, one of my processes is like, cool, we blow down the wall, we get into new territory. And in that case, for me, it was 2 crews. Okay, got to figure out how to keep 2 crews busy. Got to get creative with sales. Got to get creative with management, marketing, find the right pieces, get the right team in place, get the right managers, set the right standards, put the right systems in place again. Like, it's kind of just like a knock down the wall, build it back up stronger. Knock down the wall, build it back up stronger. And the success has been incremental. It's like, I don't want a $5 million painting business right now, because it's like hitting the lottery. you don't really know how you got there. So you can't do it again. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I love the incremental success, man. I think this year we'll do 1.75, which is a $250,000 increase. Um, and then next year we might do 2.2 and then 2.4. It's like, I'm not in a rush. I don't care. I'm just trying to make sure that what I have has a strong foundation. It's like every time we hit a new threshold, it's like, cool, foundation strong, better people, people that have a leadership mindset, people that want to grow. The business should grow organically. There should be people in your business that get a new opportunity. It is unnatural to hire someone outside of your business for a leadership role. That means that you did a poor job of fostering growth. So for me, I'm just, I just identify leadership opportunities for people, and then the business grows organically, man. It's like, I don't really like the idea of someone thinking when they start a business that they want to get to 1 million. It's like, dude, just get to 250 and then look back and say, how many hours did I work to get there? And then even if you do 250 next year, but you didn't work those hours, that's a major shift. Like, so getting caught up in the numbers is a mistake. Just focus on the processes.
I love that, dude. I love that. That's powerful, man. That's powerful. Finding the leader within.
Yeah,
So
100%.
how many leaderships do you have? Like, how leadership roles do you have right now?
4 in painting and 2 in DripJobs. 2, well, soon to be 3. So, a team of
Yeah.
like
So
7.
Tanner's promoting me to CMO. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right, 4 in DripJobs.
Love it,
Yeah,
dude.
man. I mean,
Love
and
that.
that really just comes to letting people make decisions, man. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think like I get so excited when I delegate something. Like I just delegated the DripJobs billing to my customer success manager, and she
Mm-hmm.
handles all the billing now, bro. And I'm just like, oh, that's so nice to let someone make financial decisions in a business where I used to grab onto it tight. I'm like, oh, I don't want anyone else messing with billing because I just don't know what could happen. And then just being able to just offload that because you just build trust and you're like, okay, this person definitely operates with our best interest. And it's like, cool. And then offloading training to other people. Like before, I used to have to train everyone that came in DripJobs. Now we have a standard of how training needs to be done. We have expectations, and then the person gets trained, and I don't have to train anyone. And it's like, it's wild, man. Like when you get a business, it's like people ask like how I can run 2 businesses. And I'm like, honestly, the businesses are running themselves now. Like I'm kind of just in the background, just kind of just coming in and coming out where needed, and being able to just focus on vision, which was always my goal.
I love that. And what's like certain characteristics or things like that that you can spot in someone that would make them a good fit for a leadership role? Just so, because you said like at the start you promoted that old sub that was with you to a leadership role, and then
Yeah.
it just wasn't a good fit, and then that had like a churn.
Yeah.
But
Well, that was
how would
comfortable
you?
because that was a default. I didn't seek that guy. He just fell in my lap and then he got the position by default. So
Mhm.
now, I, man, like there's a principle. I mean, you got to dig your well before you're thirsty. You never like, here's an example. I fired a project manager yesterday or Friday, like somebody that was a leader for a long time and he did a lot of things right, but he started to do a lot of things wrong. And again, tough decisions needed to be made. And what's cool is this time it wasn't me making the decision. Someone I promoted within the painting company made the decision for the first time of like, hey man, this isn't working out. So he actually fired him, which was another major mindset shift for me because I used to have to always do it.
Mhm.
So, but honestly, man, when we go into the interviews, I'm looking for manager mindset out of the gate because I'm a manager factory. I'm looking for people that I trust, that showcase that they're hungry, that they're trustworthy, that they're on time, that they communicate well. I think those 4 attributes in itself are good enough. I'll teach you how to paint. This isn't a painting business. This is a customer service business. So off the bat, I'm looking for people that know how to talk to customers, know how to communicate with me, hold themselves to a high standard. So and also have something to lose other than the job, which is important. I look for things that motivate leaders. Leaders are mostly out of their partying years and they're into family and they're into growth. And those are things that I'm picking up on that I'm like, hey, you know what? If this business that I have creates value for you in the areas that you have, then you're going to by default treat the business right. And that's what happened, man. Immediately after I let go of a project manager, and we have a full schedule, man. This wasn't by any stretch an easy shift, but I didn't have to seek out an applicant to fill this role. I just promoted someone within. Now he's managing the crew. He's got a truck. He's excited. He's on a new salary, and he's as motivated as I've ever seen him. And he was ready. You know, he was ready. He's someone that showed that he was ready. And what's cool is everyone around him is seeing that. And it just creates this incubator of people that are like, okay, he got the truck, he got the raise, he's coming in with a hot step now to the jobs, you know? So
Yeah.
you got to make sure that, like, I mean, the thing is like, you don't want to work in a company that has these old ass people sitting in the same spots, knowing that they're not progressing, and you have the owner just okay with it. It's like, who wants to be a part of that? I sure don't. I know if I work for a business, I'm finding the quickest way to the top. And what'll happen is if you're not aware of your heavy hitters, then guess what? You're missing out. There was an image that I saw the other day. Actually, I saw it today. The 2013 Washington Redskins. Did you see this image? Are you football? Do you like football?
No. I only with like Super Bowl around the corner I am, but
Yeah, you'll hit
not
the
like
Super Bowl, but yeah, you got, yeah. Okay. So the Washington Redskins, 2013, 2014, on their coaching staff, they had 5 coaches that now are head coaches of professional football teams. And just so you know, there's only 32 football teams. So in 2013, 5 of these coaches were assistants on the squad. Okay. They were just assistants, right? They had different roles under the head coach. Okay. And now all of them are head coaches of football teams, and some of them are great head coaches. Mike McDaniels, he's the head coach of the Dolphins. Sean McVay, he's the head coach of the Rams. I mean, we're talking about good coaches that in some cases have won Super Bowls. And for me, I look at it like, wow, that 2013, 2014 Redskins team sucked. And you know why they sucked? Is because the head coach didn't get the most out of his team, right? And how crazy is it that in some cases there's business owners in our industry that have people as crew members that never elevated them to managers and let them do their own thing and let them use the growth molecule within their own business. Instead, they had to go create another business and do it on their own. And that's not a terrible thing, but ultimately I would prefer to have people that have the potential to own businesses happy working for me because they already have the attributes that I need in a leader. So, and then on the flip side of that, Lucas, I don't care if they go and run a business if they want. You know, for me, it's like I've had 2 people that I've taught how to paint, train, and now they run and operate their own painting business. And it's like, cool, man, good for you. At least
one of them's our
I know
client.
that I might, yeah, one of them's your client. So, you know, and
Yeah.
he's buying leads in my area, like whatever. I don't care, man.
For sure. So that doesn't worry you about like giving your team so much information and value that they would just, stop working with you and go do their own thing because they see the potential?
No.
Because I feel like that's something a lot of like entrepreneurs face, is like giving too much information or, range of motion to their leadership team that they think they're just gonna,
Yeah. I mean, I don't operate on a scarcity mindset, man. I'm very, very faith-based. I believe everything that God has for me is mine, and that includes my customers. That includes the people I interact with at all times, because I'm positioned in a way of, I just want to serve. And if that means I have to help Nick learn how to run a painting business the right way so he can provide for his family and he can create 10 jobs because he knows how to do things the right way, that to me is greater than the 4 or 5 jobs he might win over me over the course of a year. It's like there's so much work out there. We're not competing. Now, if Nick creates his CRM, I'm going to crush him. He could try. I'm just being real. I mean, that you're entering a different ball game there, but no, I'm just kidding, man. I mean, at the end of the day, man, what's meant for me is meant for me, man. And that's how it's got to be. You can't, now I have, but what's cool is now me and him can talk on the phone and talk business, out of it. I get value too, because we're always on the phone talking, going over things and telling stories and sharing ideas. So out of that, I now have a friend, which I've always had. I've known Nick since we were kids. But now I have like a different level of a friend. I think all of us could agree that there's some friends that we've grew up with that we just, as business owners, we don't talk to anymore, because it's very hard to be friends with people that are employees because they don't have free time. There's not a lot of growth. There's not a lot of like next level thinking. So unfortunately, it kind of leaves you isolated. So selfishly, out of that, Nick and I are very close friends, and so that's how that works.
Yeah, I love that. And you have that abundance mindset because you were the one that referred Nick to us to work with. You know what I mean? It's not like Nick saw you working with us and then just came to us directly trying to, undercut you or anything. And obviously we're keeping the, areas of operation separate, but you have that abundance mindset of there's work for everybody out there.
Yeah, it's work.
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I do agree that, like,
man, that at the end of the day, man, at the end of the day, what it does though is it makes me hungrier too. At the end of the day, I know he's out there hitting leads, and I would prefer to bid against Nick than someone else, right? If there's a 3-bid average and I'm $5,000 and you got a guy coming in at 28 and then another guy at 34, I'm out of the race in most cases. If most people are focusing on cost, which in some cases they do. And if Nick comes in at 48, I might have a chance. And then the lower guy comes in at 28 and he looks weird. So, so that just, that's another cool thing. And that's happened actually. We have done that. And I would call him because it's funny, man. There's been some times where we would bid against each other and I'd be like, hey man, because usually it's on the Angie leads, not your leads. And I'd be like, hey man, did you do a bid for, and he knows he's with DripJobs, but I don't cheat, man, because I love the spirit of competition. And I say, hey man, did you, hold on, I got to switch this. I said, hey man, did you, one sec, got a camera switch. I said, hey man, did you bid against me on that one job? And he said, yeah. I said, all right, I'm going to close it. So, and sometimes it works, man. Sometimes it works. Hold on, I got to switch the camera.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so that's interesting. So because you would have access to his stats, so you could see the number, but I know you don't do that because you play fair. But I mean, you've worked with him before, right? So he used to work with you. Was he in the Motley Crew?
Was he in the Motley Crew? No, he came in, dude. He came in a little after the Motley Crew, and he was good too. He's a barber, so he was actually in barber school, and he needed to make some money, so I had him work for us. And dude, the kid can cut a line, dude. Barbers are barbers are pretty amazing. So that was an easy decision for me.
Yeah, I love that. And dude, you touched on the point of like employees versus, entrepreneurs and stuff. And I think that's something that I've recognized so much recently is like us as business owners, we could talk revenue like it's not a big deal. Like you said, like, oh, we're pushing 1.75 next year. We're going to do 2.2, whatever. You know what I mean? But if you try having that conversation with an employee, they just like take it as bragging. You know what I mean? And that's just like a mindset switch, which is like for us, we're using this as almost like a measuring
There's nothing to talk about. It's crazy. I mean, it sucks. Yeah. I mean, I grew up with you. We have a lot of memories together, but generally speaking, that's all we're talking about is the past. And as an entrepreneur, we got to look forward at all times. I wake up looking forward. What am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? My day is variable. I have no clue what's going to happen. I have a guide, but I don't know. Anything could happen. I could have, last week I had 3 people hate their colors. That hasn't happened in over a year. So coordination, I mean, you got to just be ready, man. And, I remember being an employee, and the one thing about being an employee is it's predictable. Everything's predictable. So that's that.
100%. Yeah. So always look forward.
Always look forward. Forward media.
Forward media marketing. That's it. Yeah. I love that, dude. I love that. That's powerful, bro. So last couple questions here for you. So 2,500 DripJobs users, 1.75 premium painting. What else is on the radar here for you? For what's on the radar for Tanner Mullen in 2024? What else?
I don't know, man. I just whatever God leads me to do within this industry, man. It could be an event. I don't know. I'm stirring up the feeling of an event, an in person. Just a really good event. I've always gathered people together, man. It's always something that I've done. As a kid, I would go and I'd be the kid knocking on everyone's door to try to get them to play football. Like for me, I was always the coordinator of like getting people together, man. And people's parents would always get angry at me and be, he's not home. And I'd be like, all right, they don't stop coming here, like, is Johnny here? Does he want to play? So for me, it's like a natural thing. I love bringing people together. I think there's power in that.
There's power in numbers, 100%.
power in numbers, man. And I've always kind of been friends with everyone. Like in the restaurant, I can connect with the cooks. I can connect with the front of the house and the back of the house. I was friends with the busboy, the dishwasher. I've been the busboy, but I've also been the server. Then I was the GM. So I just have a lot of empathy for people. And I think that's one of my gifts, man. So bringing people together is probably, even in DripJobs, I bring the customers closer to the businesses, and with Liftoff, we did Liftoff, man. That was awesome. So I don't know, man. I think it might be an event. I think that might be the next thing.
Like an in-person event. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
We might have
And
to
it's clear that you like bringing people together. You know what I mean? Like, for example, your Facebook group, 190,000 painting contractors.
Yeah,
Like,
it's wild. That thing's
it's
crazy.
Insane, dude. It's insane.
Yeah, I stay out
it's
of
like,
there, man. It's just too much chaos. No, it's cool.
It's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people have found me, you, other people through that group. It's so cool to actually be in control of that because I have the right intention for it. And you see it. I mentioned earlier, people ask about pricing. They ask about, basic business questions. And in the early stages of that group, people would get on there and be like, "You're an idiot. Like, why did you start a painting business?" And I would just ban them, dude, and just get that toxic culture out of that group. And I spent a long time doing that. And now it's like one of those groups that's actually a resource. There's nowhere else you can get that quick of an answer for a paint issue from actual professionals in the world. So
there's always going to be like people like that. You know what I mean? Like for myself, like when I began running ads for Forward Media, we still get them here and there, but at the start, dude, you got to have thick skin because it's just like, look at this idiot. He's so young. He doesn't even know how to ride a bike. And you're just like, bro, what? Just let me run my ads. You know what I mean?
I always make a joke. I'm like, if your Facebook guy was born after, or born before 1995, he shouldn't be your Facebook guy.
Well, I'm a 2000s baby, man. That's crazy.
There you go.
Yeah. So power in numbers, that's definitely been, I feel like you're in the business of helping, and there's no doubt about that because like look at everything you're doing on your podcast, dude. It's like business breakthroughs. Like you're changing lives. Like the amount of people that are coming, to us saying, I'm only coming to you because of Tanner, because I love Tanner. I follow everything Tanner does. It's like, it's outrageous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're changing lives, dude.
You can spread the word through this microphone, man. It's just pretty wild, man. We live in a really unique time, Really cool.
Yeah. I love that. Awesome, man. Next question here. So are you a reader?
I used to be, man. I'm a doer now. I'll be honest with you, man. It's easy to just say, yeah, I'm a reader. I mean, I used to be a reader, but it's too slow. I'm always doing something, man. And it's like, there's people that do things and they report back through a book. I'm more of a writer. I'll be honest with you, man. If I need information, I'll find it. I don't need insight. I need movement, and I'd rather, that's how I am. But if there's a topic or something that I need to dive into, I'll read, but I don't have time.
Yeah. It is time consuming.
I do read the Bible, man. There's some things I enjoy about the Bible. My wife and I started reading it a little more, and that's important to me is, everything about my life is like business, man. It's like sometimes, man, you got to activate the spiritual realm, so for me, that's interesting, and verses, and I just picked up this daily stoic thing, like just it's I don't really need
Ryan
to read
Holiday?
about business.
Yeah, it's a good book.
You got that one?
Yeah. I actually got a tattoo from Ryan Holiday. It's Memento Mori. See it right here?
Oh, nice.
Right there. It's remember that you'll die. It's like a stoic saying, meaning like live your best life, remember that you'll die, kind of thing.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a good book, dude. The Daily Stoic. It's really, really good.
Yeah. It was here. I buy books with the intent to read them, and I'm moving though right now. I'm in a stage of my life where I'm just going full speed, man. 2 kids and married and businesses, and got to optimize the time.
Yeah, and I always see you working. You know what I mean? So what does when you're not working, what's the day in life of Tanner? When you're not building premium painting, when you're not building DripJobs, what does your day-to-day look like?
Playing with my kids, being with my wife, man. That's it, man. That's all I care about, really. I mean, I'm building these businesses. I'm no longer, I used to be motivated by money, man. It used to be because that's all I had that made sense. It was like, I'm going to just make a bunch of money and have a nice car and a nice house and whatever that was. But I just decided that I have other things that are important to me, and I just try to spend time with my family and create an impact at home. Um, it's nothing crazy. I'm more of an introvert than anything when it comes to home life.
Oh yeah,
So
you're a homebody.
pretty much, yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. It's awesome, man.
It's like I'd rather be home with my kids. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know what's going
yeah.
on with this camera here, dude. Sorry.
No worries, dude. No worries. Awesome. And last question. You said 14 years ago,
Yeah.
you like the industry. Well, I mean, even like 5 years ago, the painting industry was just so different than what it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what do you predict as what's happening by the time 2030 hits? What's the painting industry going to look like?
Well, that's a good question, man. I think, man, it's so good. I think there's going to be a lot of franchises.
Hmm.
There's going to be a lot of franchises in the business. There's going to be a shift in the way people buy painting jobs. I think online virtual estimating is going to take off. I think people are getting more and more. It's a natural progression to make that. It's just going to be more. It's going to be more acceptable. Eric's doing it, and he's had success. So you can't just look at someone that's making money doing only virtual estimating and be like, oh, well, he's an outlier. It's like, no, he's a trendsetter, and he's one of the very few companies taking advantage of this. And it's like crazy because really sales is just about building relationships. Whether
Hmm.
I'm sitting in your house or I'm on FaceTime with you, Lucas, you and I have never met in person, but you and I are very good friends, right?
Yeah.
Why is that any different than a customer engaging with a business owner over video? It's not. It's just based on trust. So the only drawback is, hey, maybe the scope gets misinterpreted because of the pictures and videos. But bro, I mean, you take enough pictures and videos of a house, you'll be able to determine what needs to be done and where. So it'll be a very hungry market for virtual estimating. There's going to be companies that come out with all sorts of different things to facilitate that. There's already some. But I don't think that's going to be 100% the market. I think it's just going to be just like getting your groceries delivered. That's a part of the market that just that likes their groceries delivered, especially the younger generation who's starting to buy houses. That's another issue, is that there's going to be a big wave of who you're going to be working for. Homeowners are dying. I mean, most people are never going to own a home. They're just going to rent.
Hmm.
So you're going to mostly be seeing a lot of rental property managers is probably going to be a big shift in 2030. Property managers in general, realtors are going to be a big deal. I'm not saying the homeowners won't exist. I'm just saying that you just can't, there's a lot of companies that just own homes that their only goal with building the house is to rent them because they know that it's better than selling them. So
Yeah.
a lot of different things are going to happen in the home industry, in the housing industry in general. It's a natural progression. So, and I also
So
think that you need a software. I think if you can't really, you'll never hit a certain threshold without it.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. So do you think, like, someone who's just starting out, do you think they should look in the direction of franchises, or do you think they'd be better off doing independent and then building out to be a
No,
franchisor?
no, I think you should just build your business in a way, the same way a franchise would. I think, a franchise, all they have is a support team, right? They have a marketing agency or an internal marketing. They have coaching or mentorship, and they have a great software. Um, so for me, it's like, at the end of the day, you can get all of those things with your own resources. You can get Lucas to do your marketing. You can use DripJobs and go with Mike at Painter Growth, and then here you are, you're a franchise. You
Yeah.
just, you're a franchise is just systems. I think a franchise is a poor investment for a painting business owner, to be honest, because it's so easy to get to a certain threshold in the painting business with just the resources that we have accessible to us that we didn't have before. So, I mean, that's my take on it. I think, starting out, you shouldn't be focused on anything but just growing your brand, growing your business, and utilizing the resources like you're doing now, listening to this.
100%. And do you think people should begin capitalizing on the virtual sales aspect?
No, I just think just be aware of it when it comes. I think it's still leverage to walk and shake someone's hand. I just
Hmm.
think that you should have that as something in your tool belt. I mean, we do virtual estimating sometimes with houses that we can't get access to just move the needle, and it's worked. I've painted for people I've never met, dude. Never met them, never shook their hand, just talked to them on the phone and collected a check when we were done. It's great. That's
Nice and easy.
wild.
Yeah.
That's wild,
That's
man.
crazy. Yeah.
Ten
I think that's a
thousand,
good
fifteen
prediction,
thousand
man.
dollar job. Yeah,
Really?
you got to be ready.
Just through like, what was it? And I'm sure the virtual estimates are a lot like quicker than the actual in-person estimates.
Yeah, I mean they're quick, but it's you're riding the wave of your reputation. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you really think you're going to be the person that hurts our reputation? Like you think it's you? Again, it's like no way. And our deposit, it's low risk, $500 deposit. Don't pay us until we're done. So it's low risk. It's an easy decision. Make your decision making process of your prospect easy. You know.
Powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, this has been great, Tanner, man. Tons of
Thank you,
value.
man.
I appreciate you jumping on here, dude. I'm excited to meet you at the expo. I'm excited to see what DripJobs is going to become,
Yeah.
you know, in the next couple
Yes,
months, years down the line, bro. You're going to be changing the game. So I'm excited, man. You know, I'm grateful to have you in my network. You're an awesome lad. And I want to watch you crush it this year, dude. I want to watch you crush it.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. We're going to do our best. That's all we can do every day. Just do your best. One step at a
100%.
time. Proud of you and what you're doing and making a splash in the painting industry. If you guys follow this guy, he's one of the good ones.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that.
Right,
and if people want to connect with you, they can do so how?
Instagram, official Tanner Mullen, and then dripjobs.com. And oh, by the way, if you are on the fence about signing up with Lucas, we give Lucas's customers 60 days free. So you sign up with Lucas, you pay him whatever he needs to get going for you, integrate your leads right into DripJobs seamlessly. So of course, DripJobs will follow up with those leads automatically and help you manage your entire business. You get 60 days with Lucas.
Amen, man. Amen. Awesome, Tanner. I appreciate you, brother, and I appreciate everything you're doing.
My man. See.
All right.